Hello and welcome back to another Thunderous Production tutorial. I am Jag Thunder and this is Minecraft. And this is part 3 of our elevator system, and as you can see it's raining. Rain poses a problem. I did not realize this, or actually I had read it somewhere, but now I remember suddenly that if you use the windmill for your power supply, the rain likes to wreak havoc on the very last gearbox. So I have come up with a remedy, which I'm sure other people have too, is to basically just cover them up. Nope, it don't work. So I thought I had a remedy for it, but apparently the last gearbox will wreak havoc when it rains and it will wreck it. So if you're going to be using the windmill every time it rains, your system's fucked. So pretty much, like I said, we'll learn stuff together as this tutorial goes on. So I'm going to replace this with a water wheel and get rid of this bullshit so we can continue working. I went ahead and pre-wired some of the next steps for the block detectors and also the vertical wiring. That way hopefully that saves a little time and this part 3 doesn't go into 20 minutes like the other two did. So sit back, relax, and let me fix my shit. Alrighty, we got it fixed. As you can see, I've got water flowing into my wheel and we have power, so everything's good to go. So now that we have power, we can continue on with the tutorial. I don't know if I mentioned or not, but you can knock all these out after you've got your gearboxes set up. Probably already knew that and figured it out, but thought I'd throw it in anyways. Alright, so what we have is this. We have an elevator. Like I said, I went ahead and fixed the lighting, and I'm going to show you real quick what I got. The easiest way to start this for your vertical lighting is start on your ground floor. You want power. Okay, we're going to do the switch first as far as the up and down. Up and down. Anyways, you want to change a lit torch's process or variable or condition. You want to change a lit torch condition. You don't want to try to change an unlit condition of a torch. So the easiest way to do that is to go 1, 2, 3 blocks back, and I use that pattern around the whole thing is 3 blocks. That way you can use the second block, step down, and then drop a redstone line and then change the block. So you click the switch, and as you see, it switches the direction. And because I've got the lighting hooked up on this floor, you can see now we're going down. So it should go down. So we go back up top because we don't have the go button put in yet, and down we go. So anyways, the vertical wiring continues upward through each floor, and there again, like I said before, I recommended 3 block height for each level. This is the other reason, is because if you start with a lit torch, every level will have a lit torch on it and make the wiring very simple. Otherwise you'll have a non-lit torch here and you'll have to drop off the side, invert the power, or drop down through the floor, or go up one, and it just makes things a little more of a headache. But anyways, there again, up to the top floor we have a lit torch. And basically is what we're going to do is we're going to invert that power. So we bring the redstone wire off of the blocks and put it into an inverter. And this inverts the power, and you want to run this just before this inverter that goes into the flip-flop, because if you come out the other side you're going to get different variables and things happening that you don't want to happen. All we want to do is make another switch. So that would be like putting one right here and then running it into the inverter. So I hope that makes sense. So everything will run into this main system here as far as all your new switches go. And all we have to do now, because we have perfect vertical lighting and signal, all we have to do is put our buttons in. So 1, 2, 3, and we got a lit torch. This will be the block for the switching, and I put a button on it. I said already. Now it goes up, and now it goes down. So that takes care of the switching of the up and down, and you can also see up there it is switching along with it because we went before the flip-flop. So remember, the lighting comes after the flip-flop, so all the lights are going to match. The braking system is a little bit different. The signal is going through the flip-flop and up to the braking system. Because the line is charged, we want to pull that charged signal off because that's what's giving our signal light. So we bring the signal light down and we put it behind our signal light. Now I had to move things around just a little bit because the other signal has to go underneath, the one that actually turns the go button on and off. This is just the indicator light. So just like up top, you're laying the redstone torch across the top and into the block. And we know with any block, if you run the redstone in the top, it will light up. If you run it into the very bottom, if I took this out and laid another one down, it would still light. If I put a block over here or here and run the redstone around it, it's still going to light this block up. But if I drop this block down here, then I'm going to interfere with the line going underneath. There again, that's why I like the 3-block system height, because it gives me plenty of room to do what I need to do. Alright, for the go button. The go button has to be wired around this way because I don't have enough room here because I fucked up and didn't put this out 3. But you can fix that and go out 3. 1, 2, and the torch should actually be setting here. The only problem with that is you don't have room here to go underneath. You have to back this up 1 or 2 and then wire through. You guys can figure that out. This was just, real quick when I put this in, and I haven't slept much today because I'm on a working schedule. So, and I'm just trying to get this this video up. But this is actually how I have it wired in the UFO, and it works great. And all I did was just extend the elevator out a little bit as far as the walls and hid the redstone. So that's no big deal. You can still hide that shit. So anyways, so when we apply power to the button, as you can see, the power comes out, goes to the torch, which comes from the bottom. Remember, all the torches start at the bottom with a lit signal. So we're changing a lit signal. After we get the lit signal, we need to invert the signal. That way we have no signal going up. So when you press the button, it sends a hot signal up, switches the flip-flop, and applies the brake. And this is where that comes up at. Shit, I'm sorry it's dark. Alright, right here is where that comes up. See, there's the repeater. It goes underneath, it comes up the stairs, and then goes into the main circuitry again, just after your brake button. See, it kind of repeats. The switch side that goes up and down, all you're doing is making like a second button here to run down and control this wire. So it will come in, run back up again, just like you push the button upstairs, go through your monostat, go through your flip-flop, send the signal, and after it sends the signal, it sends the charge line back down to give you an indicator light. Real simple wiring. It's not that hard now that I've done it, but trying to figure that out by myself was really a bitch, and it took quite a few days until I got it right. And now that I've got it, I can set it up pretty much no problem. Alright, now we want the signal light for the up and the down. Now the way to do that is you want it to bring off the block dispenser, and when this gets charged, that's the easiest way to set this up, is to charge the line first so you can see what you got. Put it to the down position and get a charged line. Now that you've got a charged line, you know that that's the down position and that the down light needs to be lit. If you're doing a vertical stack like this, or if you're doing a left to right stack, it'd be a little bit harder because the rope's here and you're in the corner. If you've got a bigger elevator, you got more room to work with, so that part won't be too bad. But I've already figured this out for you. Take your charged line, and remember, in our first part of this tutorial, I showed you how to invert or switch 2 different outputs from one source. So your charge lines come down, it hits the torch, and it dies. Therefore, the top block will not light. But we still have the charged line to work with. So we bring that out and run it into the side of this block, which can easily be hid to match with stone or whatever, and puts power to this block and lights it up. Now, if we take the power away by switching our switch that we put in, okay, and now your power goes to the top, is what happened is now we took power away from the line. And we know that because, well, we built it. When the power comes through, it gets inverted, the flip-flop turns the power off, and therefore the signal is now up. So we go back down, the non-charged line now becomes charged because the redstone torch takes over, sends the signal to the repeater, up the wiring, and lights the top block. Again, real simple, but a lot of shitting around. I'm saving a lot of footwork here for everybody because I've already went through the pain and suffering of figuring this shit out. So in fucking joy. Okay, now comes the fun part, the block detectors. And I've already got those set up too, and I'll show you that here in just a second. These are the up detectors, and when the elevator is coming up, these will read out and tell you where, or tell the system where the floor to stop. And where those are positioned will depend on how much gap you have between the floor, how much time delay between the signal, and your switch back here, your flip-flop, and all that good stuff. So as far as the position goes, is going to be trial and error. Start in the middle and work your way up or down and do one side at a time. Start with the up side, and I usually keep that on the right to match the light, and just move it up and down until you get your elevator to stop exactly on the floor that you want, because you know on the way down it's not going to pick the signal up. So remember, this side is down, this side is up. So we're always going to get a signal when the elevator comes up. When we kick the switch over to go down, it won't pick nothing up. And I will show you. Let's bring the elevator the rest of the way up, and it should stop at every floor because I've already positioned it. And where did I put them anyways? Is it 2 blocks up? Okay, there's a 2-block delay above the floor, and that will help me set up the down one. So there should be a 2-block delay coming down. So I'll have 1, 2, and the next detector should be here. And we'll try that here in just a second. I want to bring this up, and there we go. So now we're going to go to the down position, and now you see the signal is being ignored. So the only ones that will pick up are the block detectors going down on the left side. So if we hit the go button, it'll just drop and completely ignore the detectors on the up side. So let's drop down here, and I'll show you how this gets wired in. This is slightly different, but not too bad. Because of the position, this is going to determine how your torch signal is set up. All this is happening on the floor just beneath your main setup, because you have a whole nother floor down here. You might as well use this for all your signal action, and then everything down below should be nothing but torches, and then of course you'll have room for your switch signals and indicator lights. So anyways, you have a lit torch here, and this worked out pretty good because I just dropped the redstone down. It changes the signal, and just like we did for the switch, we need to invert the power before we send it back upstairs. So we invert the power, send it upstairs, and this is where it's picked up. Now if there was a charged power going through this line, it's not going to pick nothing up and change your break, or because there's nothing there. So it's being ignored. The elevator continues on its path upward, and nothing happens, or downwards, excuse me. So anyways, when everything is switched, the redstone comes out. When the block detector is picked up, we get a signal. That's a fucking mouthful. I know it's confusing. Just try to bear with it and do it. It's not that bad. Like I said, I've already figured a lot of this shit out for those who have not done this yet. And all signals will be the same. Starting torch on the bottom. It's my favorite thing to do. It works out really good because you're going to change a lit torch. And we're going to put a go button over here in just a few minutes, and that's going to be set up the same way. Very, very repetitious. So now we need to figure out the spacing for the other detectors. And like I said, it should be 2 below. So if we count 1, 2, the next block should go 1, 2, should go right here, and that should be right. 1, 2, and then it should stop. Because we got 1, 2, and it stops. So anyways, we're going to wire this one up the same way, and you'll have to create a whole nother column going up because it's a totally different signal, and I'll come back when I've got that done. Okay, like I said, it's trial and error. The signal is actually quicker this way for some reason, and the first detector on this side actually has to go 1 block and then it stops. So I'll show you it working. We're going to switch it back to the up. Now these detectors will pick up, and the floor, whoops, I spam clicked that fucker. See, it's ignoring that one now because of our switch in the back. So now we switch to the down, we get our light, we hit the brake, and now we should go down, and all these are being ignored, and it's picking up these sensors. So if I can step in front of it again, see, it'll set the damn detector off. So as you can see, this one's in the wrong position. That's why I said it's trial and error. The nice thing about it is that I'll show you here in a second. Let me drop down here. Because I'm moving the position of the detector block to here, now I just have to put a redstone like this, or just take this out completely, and I got a nice straight shot to the lovely lit torch that is on our perfect level. So we go back around here, and we'll drop down a hair, and we'll put our block in. We'll change this one, which the floor is going to stop here anyways, but this will give us a signal. And so you probably don't have to put this one in, but I'm just going to do it just for the sake of the tutorial. We'll let that back in. Now let's go back up, and I don't have my go buttons except for right there. Press that and let's see what happens. Remember, you don't want to move around on the elevator, because if you do, you're going to set off your sensor and the elevator is going to go down. So there's the brake. It's applied on the ground floor. Everything is beautiful in Jag's world. So anyways, this will be trial and error for everybody. If you build this the same, it still may not come out the same. You'll just have to play around and just move your detectors. It should be in one of these 3 spots. More than likely it'll be in the middle and at the bottom, or in the middle or at the top, one way or the other. That's why I said this part of the tutorial is just to show you how to get the signal up there, and all you have to do is just figure out where the fucking blocks go. So all we have left is to put in our go button down here, and we're going to do this in red. And I think I went out 2 instead of 3, and oh shit, the fucking bed. Alright, let's look at this shit. And I did. I went out 2. So I went out 2 and over 1. So we go down here, and we go out 2 and over 1. So right there's where the torch is going to be. So we're going to set that up, and I'm going to set my vertical torching. I'm going to set these in, and we'll come back and I'll show you what I did again. Okay, so now we have go buttons on every floor, and I'm going to go down to the next floor, down, 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 and as you can see, the floor stops perfectly because we've already taken care of that problem. We've wired in the next switch and went right to our light, and it goes straight up through. Actually, on the first floor down, it goes underneath and around. The floors beneath this one here, and you can see your indicator light goes off, and we'll finish wiring the brake lights in too, which is really easy, and also the up and down, which I've already showed you that. And hit our go button again, and down to the bottom floor. So there you have it. There's our working 1, 2, 3, 4 floor elevator, and all we have left to do is put in the indicator lights. I'm going to finish that off, and I'll be right back. Okay, all the indicator lights are in. I moved them to the corner position because I realized they was behind the crates and they didn't look very good. So I moved them back to the corner like I have mine. All the brake lights are in, and all the indicator lights going up are in. And they're again really easy to get the wiring. Just get yourself a hot signal, which I like to use down, and that will give you the hot signal to come off to each block. And remember, you can power the block next to it. It doesn't mess with the detector, and that will light the bottom block. So when that's off, you can actually change this to your texture, either stone or sandstone or whatever you're using, or wood. That way when the light is off, and I'll show you, let's switch it first. And so you can see the green blocks beneath it. So all you have to do is change out this one and this one. Boom, boom, and my fucking brake didn't hold. So we switch it back down and take the brake off. So the elevator comes back down. Isn't this cool as shit? I love shit like this. So now we're gonna switch out. You can hide this one here too. If you back your wiring up a little bit, I kind of crammed this in here. If you back this up about 1 or 2 blocks and just use more repeaters, just use a redstone and a repeater wherever this corner junction is on all of them, and just move it up 1 block. You can throw this stone in here, but I can't do that now because I've got my redstone on top. But as far as trimming it out, just like that, and then you'll have one behind it if you move everything back, and you can run the powered redstone wire to the back of the block that is sitting here. So that's how you trim that out. And as far as the indicator lights for the stop button, same thing. I moved it over a little bit, and all you're doing is you're looking for a hot signal. When the brake is on, you will have one. So you start up here at the top where we first had it, and just come off the side and just keep pulling the signal down, because all it is just for lighting. Throw a couple repeaters in, make sure they're going the right direction to the light source, and then just keep dropping it down again, as many floors as you need to, and just keep using repeaters, and everything should be all wonderful and great in your world too. So anyways, this is my long, lengthy 1 hour, 3-part bend you over, have fun tutorial. I know I stumbled a little bit along the way. Like I said, I just figured a lot of this stuff out, and I'm still learning. I'm not a redstone expert. I do the best that I can, but as soon as I learn it, I want to share it, because that's why I'm here. I have a good time meeting new people, sharing what I've built, getting the awesome comments back, people wanting me to build more things, and just keep sharing and making our community bigger. So anyways, this over here real quick, I was starting to build up another one with a 5-layer system, basically so I could show you the detector box settings, but because of the wiring length and the variable differences, that is just going to be probably about the only trial and error part of this whole thing that you'll have to worry about. Everything else should be laid out. I hope I've got everything in this full hour. I've covered enough. I hope you've enjoyed it. Remember to rate, comment, and subscribe, and let me know what else you'd like to see, or and keep an eye out for my upcoming videos. So we'll see you on the next one. Later.